Here we are again in the guide for the all skills waterless route, and we finally made it to the part that makes it waterless. So we're done with the Gitso tree, and we've aimed a teleport at Moon Grotto, heading back down there to the teleporter we got before. Now note that if you forgot this, you can just use the swamp teleporter. It's almost as close, but Moon Grotto is a bit faster. So we're going to head up here, go up, grab this 100 experience orb. This will pick up a level up, which conveniently gives us full health for this part, and also is an ability point that we'll need later. So then here we have a cutscene skip around the kind of yellow mushroom that's overlaying the terrain to the right a bit. We have got a cutscene trigger that's going to give us a pretty long cutscene and activate some lasers in this section. We don't want any of that, so we're going to do a rekindle skip on it. There it is, and reload. Now while this cutscene is playing, what I'm doing here is moving off to the right off screen. This is not necessary to do, and people approach this with different sort of methods. What I do is 6 dashes, then I start jumping over the spikes to the right. Some people opt for 5 dashes with a dash glide, some people try to dash on one of the platforms between the spikes. There's a variety of things you can try out what works for you. I think perhaps a safe option would be to just dash 5 times and then wait if you don't want to potentially take a bunch of damage on the spikes. So let's get back into it. The cutscene's going, I'm just jumping over some spikes. Now here I intentionally slowed down so that I could place a safety save before this next trick, because this is the difficult new trick in the waterless route that will be a bit of a struggle to learn perhaps. So what I want to do is walk over and place a safety save by this plant. The reason that I delayed before I came over here is once this frog gets on screen, he'll start walking to the left, and if you're already as far as you could possibly get during that cutscene, if you're already all the way through that, he'll start walking early and you won't actually be able to get the save off in time. Of course, if that happens, you can just chase him away to the right and then go back and save if you really want the safety save. But it's not necessary to do this in runs. You do have your save back at the cutscene, so it's not that bad. You just have to redo the blind movement if you fail here. So, continuing. We're going to chase this frog over to the left, and then we're going to bash him across the water there, being careful to send him at a high enough angle that he clears the first pit and doesn't slide into the second. If he's at too low of an angle, he'll slide into the second bit of water and just die. So with that done, we'll catch up to him, bash him again, and get him up against the edge of this platform, or preferably on the platform itself, but either way, we can catch him with a bash and then send him to the right again. He does not die to these spikes, thankfully, so now you have a bit of a break while you head over him. And then you can get past him and then just bash him up. He'll slide over this plant and get onto the breakable ground to the right. You don't have to jump past him here. If you have enough health, which I do here, but I just wanted to show the no damage way, you can just bash yourself into the spikes and then follow him. These spikes only do 2 damage, so not a big deal. But I figured, in case you do take some damage along the way, you would want to know about this method. So let's step back and just watch that without a whole bunch of pauses in it. So chase him, get him up against the edge, follow him up, and throw him over to the breakable ground. Now here he shoots at us. I jumped a bit early. There I got him to break the ground. You just want to hop a little bit over his shot so he aims pretty low to the ground. There is one thing to note here. The hitbox for the ground is very thin, and in some cases, the frog's shot can just slip through it. And if that happens, it might happen repeatedly in the spot you're standing, so the best option is to take a step left or right and try again. So now that we have the first ground open, we're going to try to break the second ground with this frog. Now, for this, we have to learn the properties of these frog shots a little bit. So one thing about these is, at the moment that these frogs fire, the maximum height which their projectile can go to is set, and it's based on your position relative to the frog at this time. So this Next sequence of bashes is a setup to make it so that you're right next to the roof when the frog fires. If you are a bit off on this, then the frog's second shot in this corner will not have enough juice to make it to the roof. It'll seem like you could force it into the roof. It'll be right below it, and you can be bashing it all you want, but it can't exceed the maximum height set at the time it's fired. So you'll just have to, go back down and try again. So let's watch it. So you bash the shot up once. You can buffer a second bash on this shot. That is, bash before the shot falls into range of you, and that will catch the shot as soon as it's in range, and then you bash up with that one. Now note as well, it's important to see the position I'm standing in, which is basically just under the left edge of the breakable floor above. And this helps the frog get a little bit more distance if it's on the right side and you're on the left, so that's important as well. So here's the buffered bash up to the roof, and then you hit the roof and you double jump to keep yourself pinned against the roof and give a little bit of a wider window for this next shot to be fired when you're right up against the roof. And then once it's up there, you're going to bash it straight up, and hopefully, if you did the setup right, it will break the roof like that. It won't just fall short and fall to the ground, and then you can bash up on the frog and you're in business. So let's rewind and watch this trick done in sequence. Here we are. So safety save, not necessary. Chase the frog over. You could bash him there, but chasing him is easier, so we'll stick with that for now. Send the frog into position. Throw him on the floor. Just hop over his shot to make him break the floor for you. Put him in the right corner. Bash down, buffered bash up, double jump, bash down, bash up. And that's that. So now we're in Swamp, out of sequence. This was faster than doing the Ginso escape by a fair margin. And because we key duped back in Ginso, we have enough keys to open this door already, which is convenient because the keys are underwater and the water is still poisoned. So now we'll just head up to Stomp. You can bash straight up here to catch the edge of this hanging platform. If you're too low, just go around the left side there. It's better to do that than to reattempt that. And now we find ourselves at the Stomp tree. So that will wrap up this portion of the guide, and we'll be heading over to Valley next.